In this video, I'm going to give you an objective take as to whether you can make money on Redbubble. How I'm going to structure this video is that I'm going to look at the 3 blind spots that most beginners forget to consider when it comes to selling their designs on Redbubble. But before I jump into this content about making money, I don't really like making videos about this topic just because I think people can get so wrapped up in making money that they forget to enjoy the process, they forget to create designs that they love, or they start comparing themselves to people who have perhaps experienced success a lot quicker than they have. So before I even start talking about how you can make money or what you need to consider before making money, I just want to remind you that this is a journey and it's a bit of a marathon, to be quite honest. And you might hear of people who experience success straight off the bat, and you might find that it takes you a little bit longer. But if you're really doing something because you love it, you're going to keep doing it. If you're in it just for the money, it's pretty easy to give up. And here's one more teaser. If you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you a bonus tip. But I think that's enough of an intro. Let's jump straight into whether you can make money on Redbubble. The first blind spot that hits a lot of newbies is their first designs. So why is this a blind spot? Well, let's think about it objectively. Let's say, for example, one of your friends came to you and they decided they're going to be a designer with 0 design experience, and they think it's as simple as uploading 10 designs onto an online store and making money immediately. What would you say to your friend? Would you say that they are likely to make money immediately? Or would you be concerned that their first 10 designs may not be that great? I've started enough online businesses to know that your first effort at starting something new is unlikely to be your best. And I'm talking to new designers here, hey? If you're a skilled artist or an Adobe angel, then please hold on till the next point. But to everyone else, if you can make peace that your first few designs aren't probably going to be your best and that you're unlikely to make money from your first few designs, then perhaps you will keep creating and just be a little bit more patient and persevere that beginning stretch. And it's difficult, I understand. There's nothing more demotivating than trying something new and not getting results. But that's why this is such a blind spot to beginners. So like I mentioned, I've experienced in starting quite a few online businesses. I'm gonna have some real talk with you. When I started YouTube, I had a goal of making 100 videos before I even thought of getting 1,000 subscribers. I'm lucky that it happened earlier for me, but I kind of made peace that my first videos weren't going to be great. I even expected my first 60 videos to not even be that great. With podcasting, I have the mindset of needing to create 100 episodes before I can even reach out for sponsorships, because I'm giving myself time to find my feet. With Medium, if you watched any of my Medium videos, when I started on that platform, I had the goal of writing 15 articles before I had any dream of making any money. And I couldn't even do that. I got so demotivated after 8. So when it came to me starting on Redbubble, straight off the bat, I made peace that none of my first designs were going to sell. My goal was to create 100 designs and then hope that perhaps one of my 100 designs would sell. And if you're wondering if any of my first designs sold, no, none of them sold because they were terrible. I've deleted many of my first designs, but I've still kept some of them just to remind myself of how far I've come. And please feel free to have a laugh at how terrible some of these are. But because I believe my designs got better the more designs I created, I was able to make my first sale after 3 weeks. And you know what? I was elated when that happened. So the point I'm trying to make by sharing all of this is that if you have 10 to 20 or even 30 designs up and none of them are selling, there is a chance that your 10 to 20 or 30 first designs are probably not that great. Don't give up creating just because they aren't selling. But as you can see, especially if you're a newbie, it takes time to really find your groove when it comes to creating designs. So if you're asking, Mods, how many designs should I create before I can expect a sale? Well, I'll be honest. I used to think I knew, but there is no secret. For encouragement's sake, I think there's a lot of people who's joined Redbubble lately, so maybe where I had a goal of creating 100 designs, maybe now you should have a goal of creating 200 designs. But like I said, there's no magic number. This is actually a great segue to bring us into the second blind spot most beginners have, and that is that they forget to consider supply versus demand. I walked you guys through creating my Redbubble store at the beginning of July. Since then, and I'm going to take a moment for this, that video has got over 23,000 views. And that tells me something. A lot of people are wanting to sell and make money on Redbubble. Now, there's an interesting question you should be asking at this point. Are there as many new people wanting to buy products from Redbubble as there are as many new people wanting to sell and make money from Redbubble? We'll come back to that in a second. But I made a video reviewing Placeit, and I really suggest that you pause this video and give that one a watch, because for a lot of beginners, we think it's a good idea to create clip arty designs or download designs that are very similar to what another newbie might be doing. And this should be an area of concern for you, because if there is a giant influx of new Redbubble sellers and people wanting to make money on Redbubble, and they're all going to the same place to download designs or to create similar designs, all of a sudden your competition pool for the design you're hoping to create becomes a lot bigger. So what this means is if there's a lot of the same thing out there, it's very unlikely that you're going to make money from a design that's very slightly different to yours or exactly the same as yours. And also, with the current global climate, delivery has been a bit of a problem. I haven't been able to order any of my own products, for example. And because of the current economic climate and not all countries having access to having products delivered to them, it just helps you to limit your expectations. And yes, in the future, things should change. But right now, even if there was a giant demand, not all orders are able to be fulfilled because of these delivery issues. So that ocean of opportunity does narrow down to be a little bit of a pond right now. To continue with this point of Redbubble being very competitive, I want to just make you aware of your inability to compete for highly searched keywords straight off the bat. What I mean by this is, if you're a new seller on Redbubble hoping to make money, you need to be aware that people have been on the platform for years already, and when it comes to competing for keywords, they are seen as an authority for a specific keyword. It's very unlikely that if you have a design of a flower that you will be able to rank for the keyword flower straight off the bat. But this isn't all doom and gloom. We're going to do an example now. So as you can see, I have taken a picture of a beautiful protea in South Africa. Now, I'm not going to be arrogant and assume that I'm going to rank for the keyword flower. I will include the keyword flower in my tags, but I'm going to try and narrow this down. So even if I have to try and rank for protea, the competition is still pretty high. But if I try to rank for protea Southern Africa, well, as you can see, the pool becomes a lot smaller, and there's a chance that I might be able to compete for that keyword, which means somebody is likely to stumble across my design and perhaps purchase it. And if you're new to Redbubble, you need to be mindful of ways that you can compete. And it's okay if this all seems a little bit daunting at the beginning. Give yourself freedom to play around, to explore, to try things, rather than expecting sales straight off the bat. Talking about sales and people coming across your designs, we're going to come to the third blind spot that a lot of newbies forget to consider, and that is promotional activities. What I love about Redbubble is that they could promote your designs. But I'm newish to Redbubble, and I'm not even a featured artist yet, and I don't think any of my designs have been promoted. But does that mean that I don't have a chance of making sales? No, it just means that I need to think a little bit outside of the box, which I think is true for a lot of you guys who are also new to Redbubble. I think a good question to ask yourself is, why would Redbubble promote certain designs? Now, if I owned Redbubble, I would be interested in promoting designs that are selling. So what I mean by this is, if I see a certain designer is bringing a lot of traffic to their store and a lot of their designs are moving, I would want to promote more of those designs, because clearly something that designer is doing is working and getting sales. And like I mentioned, there's a giant inflow of brand new designers to Redbubble every day. And I'm saying this just because I can see how many people are watching my video and commenting on it. But I don't think there's enough Redbubble staff to actually individually go look at all of our stores. So we're going to help them out by showing, hey, our store is good enough for you to promote. So how do you do this? Well, you have two options. You can do organic marketing, or you could do paid advertising. And please guys, don't do paid advertising first. Why I suggest organic marketing first is that if you don't pay for your designs to be pushed in front of people, and you actually just promote your designs organically, you will notice which designs are actually getting traffic without you needing to pay for the traffic. And if you see some designs are doing very well organically, then you can put a little bit of money behind those designs to just leverage off of that momentum. Now, a way that I drive traffic to my Redbubble store, apart from this YouTube channel, is through leveraging off Pinterest. Now, if you've never used Pinterest before, pause this video and watch my video on Pinterest marketing. It's a really helpful video to just give you a bit of an understanding of why the Pinterest platform is so powerful and why it's different to a lot of the other social media tools people use. But I have a blog, so my pins on Pinterest drive traffic to my blog. Now on my blog, I have mock-ups of what my designs look like, and I also just write a few little sentences underneath these images. And what this does is that it gives people options of my designs, and if they like what they see, they can go straight through to Redbubble and purchase it. Now, if you don't have a blog and this is something that you're interested in, you can create a blog for free on Wix, and it's super simple, guys. I will include a link to that video in the description because that's a really great video for you to watch if you want to consider blogging. So where earlier I said I don't like place it when it comes to creating designs, I really enjoy it for its mock-up features. These mock-up features are fantastic because if you don't have a big budget to stage a photo shoot and buy your own products, it's quite nice to see what your products would look like in every single day life situations. So I have done a bit of an experiment, literally just taking the mock-ups from Redbubble, the pictures that everybody uses. But the problem with that is that everybody uses those. So if you go onto Pinterest, you will see that it's quite a lazy way for people to market their products. And maybe lazy isn't the right word to use. Let's just say it's pretty saturated. So just making that little bit of extra effort and moving your design to place it and putting it on a mock-up there, you could see it actually in a bit of a video. There are free options for you on Place It as well. But if you do pay for Place It, you can really leverage off of their beautiful mock-ups. And I haven't seen these saturated on Pinterest just yet. It might change in the future, who knows? But right now, I really feel like my designs are standing out on Pinterest because they look a little bit different. So if this interests you, you can watch my Place It video as well. But it's not just Pinterest. As I mentioned, I leverage my YouTube channel, which sends a lot of traffic through to my Redbubble store. But you guys can use whatever social media platform you enjoy. I know a lot of people use Instagram. I don't. Facebook groups, I also don't use those. But choose a platform that you enjoy using because you'll keep using it. And like I mentioned, it's a marathon. So you need to persevere with your promotional activities too. But I also want to mention another thing here, guys, under this topic of promotional activities, is if you are an influencer, Redbubble is such a great platform for you to consider because you could create your own merchandise and market it to your followers. What I've learned from all of my online business ventures is that you need an audience, and finding an audience and creating an audience, it takes so much time. So if you are an influencer or you know of an influencer, creating merch on Redbubble is, I would assume, a lot easier than managing the entire supply chain yourself. And what I mean by that is with Redbubble, you just have to create a design and add it to a product, as opposed to creating a design, finding a supplier, finding a warehouse, finding somebody who's going to distribute your products. You got to manage payments and returns. Those are just some of the elements in the supply chain. It gets a lot more intense. So let's just say, for example, you're a fitness influencer and you are launching a new kettlebell workout. You can launch your kettlebell workout and also create your own kettlebell t-shirt that people could buy in Redbubble. There's that continuity, and it's a lot simpler to manage the process through Redbubble. Or let's say, for example, you're a YouTuber and you want to create your own YouTube merch. I have a very good friend on YouTube, Liz, and I created a fun sticker for her, Find Your Lizness. But if you're a gamer and you have some tagline that you always use, you can create that on a shirt and your followers could purchase it. I'm sure you can get the idea. If you're an influencer, Redbubble is quite an amazing platform for you to leverage off your influence and sell your merch. But if you're going to make your own merch, please just make sure you own the rights to your designs. I know that there has been a little bit of like stickiness around fan art where it seems like it was safe to create some designs, but then it turns out that it's not safe to create those designs. I just believe if you're creating original, unique designs that are completely from you, from your brain, from your heart, then that's probably the safest space for you to operate in. You want to keep your Redbubble store open. I think we've all got a pretty good idea of where the boundary lines are. So just keep this in mind when creating designs or merch. Those are the 3 blind spots that a lot of beginners forget to consider when it comes to making money on Redbubble. But now, like I mentioned, I'm going to give you a bonus tip. And this one I find so interesting. We're going to look at trending versus interests. Are you ready for it? From my experience, there's no secret. I have sold clip art, I've sold text, and I've sold photography. When I started on Redbubble, I thought you needed to be a creative artist who's able to channel your inner Da Vinci, and then if you can do that, you'd make money on Redbubble. Sure, I haven't made millions. In fact, I haven't really made any money worth boasting about, but I have still made some sales, so I know it is possible to make money on Redbubble. I found myself at the beginning also creating designs that were trending, and guess what? None of my attempts at trying to create trending designs sold. None of them sold. My designs that have sold have really been things that I'm interested in. So I'm sharing this tip with you because as a beginner, you might feel the only way for you to make a sale is to exhaust those trends. And from my experience, you don't really need to do that. So if you're wondering if Redbubble is a money-making machine, from my experience, it's just so difficult to answer this question because it's design specific, niche specific, and person specific. I have heard of people making lots of money on Redbubble, but I've also read in my comments that a lot of people are struggling to make money on Redbubble too. As much as I want to say it's as easy as uploading a design, sitting back and watching the dollars roll in, I just can't say that. As a Redbubble newbie, I really feel you have to put in a lot of behind the scenes graft to be discovered by Redbubble for them to promote your designs, but also to just make your own organic sales. So just in case you are comparing yourself with me and you've got 30 or 40 designs and you've heard that I've made sales, just remember that I created over 100 designs before I made a sale. My strategy was taking a week, designing every single day, getting 100 designs, and then hoping that I'd make a sale. And you know what? I was lucky enough that after 3 weeks, I made my first sale. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Okay, it does seem like everybody is doing it. What I actually meant to say was, if it was easy to be making money on Redbubble, everybody would be making money on Redbubble. And that is a little bit of a different story because, like I mentioned, a lot of people are struggling right now, but there's a lot of reasons why. So my intention behind this video was to encourage you to keep creating if you love creating, and don't let the fact that you haven't made a sale stop you from creating. Persevere, keep creating designs that you love and that you're interested in and that people are pointing out and saying, wow, that's beautiful. Show your friends and family, do your own organic promotion. Starting online businesses aren't easy, and as I mentioned, there's an oversupply, in my opinion, of new designers on Redbubble, so the competition pool is big, but don't let that stop you from creating. Before I wrap this video up, I have included links to all of the videos in my description that you might find really helpful when it comes to just educating yourself on Placeit, on Pinterest, or perhaps even creating your own blog to drive organic traffic through to your Redbubble store. But to wrap it up, don't compare yourself to other people. If you hear people talking about how much money they've made, don't compare your month 3 to their month 48. Comparison is a thief of joy, and rather than focusing on comparing yourself to other creators, focus on creating designs that you love. And on my channel, I do talk about other online ventures that I have started. I've actually started 10 online businesses in the last year. So sometime in the future, I will make a video comparing all of the different 10 that I've started. And what's been very interesting for me is I found an area that I enjoy operating in, and the overflow from that has been very interesting. But subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see that video. I don't know when I'm creating it. It will be sometime in the future. But like I mentioned, Redbubble is a marathon. Especially if you're new right now in this current season. Hang in there, keep creating. Thank you for spending your time with me. I really enjoyed putting this content together, and I will see you in one of my next videos. All of the best. Bye-bye.